Good morning, fellow rippers. Welcome back to the channel. Mick here with Grip It, Rip It, Chip It. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. We are going to be doing a club review for a club that I've been wanting to try out for a while now. So I have the box here. I just got it yesterday. I'm going to open it up and we're going to take a look at it together. Alright, let's take this thing out and see what it looks like. I'll give you guys an idea what's going on and why I've been wanting to do this. It's got a return address label in here, so I don't want to lose that because I do have to send it back. So you guys guessing what this is? Roosters, get out of here. Get this thing all unpacked, get that off, and then I'll throw this box aside. Alright, well that is a nice looking golf club. What we have is the McGregor, get this focused, MT86 oversized club. It is very similar type of club to my P790s. It's a forged club with a hollow body construction. I can tell you that I have already seen and tried the pro version of this club, and it is a lot smaller head. So when I ordered the pro version, you can do these, it's basically a trial, a 30-day trial that you pay $100 to get the trial, and with tax I think it's $107. They send it to you with a return address with the box. You try it for a month and then send it back. And I did that with the pro version, thinking that when I saw the word oversized that this was going to be a big kind of game improvement, more so head like you know, the Callaway Big Bertha type of club. So I went and tried the pro version first, and when I got that, it was a lot smaller, so it was more of a blade size, similar to say like a Mizuno MP221, or now they have the new ones out, 241. So it had a lot thinner top line, a lot smaller sole, and the overall head was not a ton smaller than the P790, but a little bit. It had a little bit different shape on the toe and stuff, but it definitely was smaller. I like it. It felt amazing, and I have some B-roll film of that. We will try to put in and add and compare these two if I can figure out how to put them side by side in the video. But this one looks much more close to my 790, which I'm going to go grab that right now and then hold them up next to each other so you can see how they look. Alright, I'm back. So this is the P790 that you guys are familiar with. Very popular, long-standing club. And then this is the McGregor. So just looking at these, even though they call this an oversize, these look almost identical to me. Just a little bit different shape. This has got a little bit deeper toe. This has got a little bit straighter edge. Let me see if I can get the top line here for you guys. I don't know if I'll be able to do this with the camera, but top line on them, fairly similar. The sole on them, fairly similar, although the TaylorMade does have the speed slot in it. The chrome finish of the McGregor is just a little bit more of a bright finish. This is kind of more of a satiny dull finish. But what they did was they put on the McGregor, they did kind of a matte finish on the grooves here. And then also on the top line, the width of those grooves, they put a matte finish, so you're not going to get that glare off of the sun when you play, which for me is not an issue. You guys know I wear sunglasses all the time when I play because my eyes can't take the sun very well. And so yeah, I mean, this one, the McGregor might be just a little bit thinner top line than the TaylorMade, but that could be an illusion because of that matte finish too. I'm not sure. But from a standpoint of just looks, I actually, from a subjective standpoint of what I like, I absolutely love the look of this club. It's got that shape of the old MTs that were originally designed, I don't know, back in the 50s probably. Way before my time, but all the way up into the 70s. I remember this type of club. Jack Nicklaus had played them and stuff, but I don't know how much you know about McGregor. I have a few notes here to give you a little bit of history. Basically started in 1829 in Dayton, Ohio. They started out as a manufacturer of shoe lasts, the wooden shoe lasts you put in shoes to hold their shape. Apparently they had a lathe system that could make the shoe last quicker and better than anybody else, so they kind of thrived in that arena. And then around 1897, John McGregor from Scotland and a partner kind of transformed. They got new ownership. They kind of transformed it, and they were golf enthusiasts, so they slowly transitioned into making golf shafts and golf clubs, and basically became one of the first golf club manufacturers in America. Over the years of partnering with different people like Tommy Armour and Ben Hogan and Byron Nelson, Jack Nicklaus at one time owned the company. As it went through different ownerships throughout the years, I still believe currently are second behind Wilson clubs as having the most majors. As a group, they have 59 major wins with McGregor clubs, so that's a pretty significant amount. Then after probably about the late 80s, early 90s, Jack Nicklaus had sold off his portion, and it went to Amir Sports, I think, and Wilson, and then they had numerous ownership changes throughout the years up into the early 2000s. It had gotten sold off to the Brunswick AMF, the company that does bowling alleys and stuff, and I think that kind of was the downfall of it. They didn't manage it very well and didn't do a good job, and it started just kind of decreasing. Eventually it got sold off. They kind of were going under. It got sold off for cheaper and cheaper amounts, and it ended up with Golfsmith had bought it for a couple $1 million, I think. And then, get out of here. Golfsmith, as you guys probably know, went bankrupt, and in the process of that, Dick's Sporting Goods bought out the Golfsmith and got the rights to this. So now the current owners bought the rights, and they have gone back to producing more custom clubs and more quality clubs. So I saw that they were going back to these better clubs, and if you guys know, my original clubs that I bought back in the 80s were McGregor's. I absolutely love those clubs. I played them for a long time, and then when I quit playing golf for 20 some years when my kids were little, those clubs sat in the garage. When I got back into golf, I played them for a little bit, but then I realized technology had passed me up, so I got Adams clubs. I played those for a year or two, and then finally after that set, I ended up with my P790s, and I've been playing those ever since, which I love. And I just put the new Axiom shafts in, which I love. So these are probably not going to get replaced anytime soon, but when I saw this come out, it's such a beautiful club, I figured I want to try it and see how it compares to the P790. And so that's the whole point of this. Now, to give you guys an idea of the value of these compared to other things in the market right now, they make all clubs. It's not just irons. They have drivers, fairway woods, hybrids, putters, wedges, and then iron sets that are more geared towards better players, and then game improvement iron sets that are geared towards beginners. So if you're brand new to golf and you need a good quality set of clubs at a cheap price, they have complete sets where you get the clubs and bag and everything you can get for $350. That's a pretty good deal for a good quality club. It's not this club, obviously. It's more of a cavity back game improvement club, but that's pretty good. Then they have a VIP iron set, which the VIP iron name was very popular back in the days that Ben Hogan and Byron Nelson and those guys were playing. I think it's a different style club. It's more of a cavity back game improvement beginner club. But if you're getting just the club set, you're not buying the setup with a bag and everything. For a 4-through pitching wedge set with a steel shaft, you can get it for $200. That set. And then if you want the graphite shaft, it's $240, and that's just their standard steel shaft option and the standard graphite shaft, which I believe it's a recoil, UST recoil shaft is what they do, a standard shaft. And then they have a DX carbon steel set, a little bit probably upgrade. 4-through pitching wedge is $250 with steel, $290 with graphite. So still very, very good price, quality value price for a complete 4-through pitching wedge set of irons. That is pretty hard to beat if you're looking at major brands, which this has now gotten back to. It's basically a major name brand club. And then they have a V-foil set. I think it's a little bit more of an upgrade. I kind of looked at them. They're cavity backs. I'm not interested as much in testing those, but I just looked at the website to see what they offer. 4-through pitching wedge in that, $250 with steel and $335 or so with graphite, which is still a very competitive price compared to other things on the market. If the McGregor quality of their box sets is anything like it is with these clubs that I've hit with that pro version, you can't go wrong with that price. This one is oversized with a stock steel shaft, which this one has a KBS Tour stiff, and then just a typical Lambkin Tour velvet type of a grip. Standard size, standard length, standard head. A 5-through pitching wedge set in these is $600. And then if you want the 4-through pitching wedge, it's basically $100 more, so it'd be $700 for the steel shaft. If you get this in their standard graphite shaft, which I think again is that UST recoil, it is a 5-through pitching wedge is $700, and then the 4-through pitching wedge would be $100 more at $800. So for a full set of really good quality irons at $700 or $800, depending on if you want steel or graphite, compared to what's out on the market now where everything is basically going to about $200 per club, this is a value that is really, really difficult to beat. And the look of these things, I personally, from my subjective opinion, I think this is the best looking club on the market. And that's saying a lot, because you guys know how much I like my P790s. I mean, I still love the look of these, I still love them, but when you put these two side by side, I think this is a better looking club. And that's just my subjective opinion of it. But for people that like this style of the blade-ish, solid muscle back type of look, but with the more forgiving head, that's got to be an option that you take a look at, because it's a good looking club. So now if you go to the pro version of this club, which is just a little bit smaller head, on there just standard of what you can get with the steel shaft, the standard grip, it's basically the same price. For a 5-through pitching wedge, $600, 4-through pitching wedge, $700 with the steel, and then $700 and $800 with the graphite. Now the difference with these clubs is you can go into their site and then do kind of a custom fitting, they kind of call it, where you can get higher upgraded steel shafts and higher upgraded graphite shafts, and also grips. That's going to increase the price. So you can build these out, but that is still a great value compared to what's out on the market today when you start doing custom shafts and things in those heads. So this is something that I've really wanted to check out, test compared to my club. Hitting the pro version compared to my club, very similar feel, very similar sound. I'm expecting these to be the same. I'm going to try to hit a couple with my club, hit a couple with these, and then we're going to try to get it out to the driving range and hit a bucket and get a little bit more into it to see how it does. So. Ooh, that was a good hit. All right, so that was a hit with the P790. Now I'm going to try to hit one with this MT86, and we'll see how that goes. All right, let's see what this feels like when we hit this one. Hopefully get a good hit in the middle of the club. Ooh, sounded kind of a little more clicky, I think, than my club. Oh yeah, feels good. Because I put the Axiom shafts in my clubs, I have a whole set of shafts that don't have heads on them. And the one thing I forgot to mention is you can buy just the heads of these clubs. And I will have to get the prices of those and put it in this. I'll put the video, I'll put the prices on the screen because I didn't look that up. All right, guys, let's get to the driving range and give these things a try. All right, guys, before we get to the driving range, I have a little update to make. Because I didn't know the price of just the heads, and I was going to just post that on the screen here in the edit, I went back in and looked it up, and I found on the website, I realized that I had made a mistake in the prices. So I decided to put on this portion of the video to update that so that you guys aren't confused. So the prices I just stated are actually sale prices based on McGregor is doing an anniversary sale right now for the clubs, primarily the MT86 version of the clubs. Basically $200 off for the set compared to what their normal price is. So when I was looking at it originally and they had a price and it was kind of grayed out with their price, it didn't really click in my head. I thought they were just making it look like, okay, this is a really good deal from what it should be. But no, that actually is their sale price. So those are the sale prices. All right, so now let's talk about just the heads. If you want to buy just heads only and you already have shafts and grip stuff, you want to build them yourself. For the oversize and the pro version, right now the sale price is at $499.99. So basically $500. You can get the heads as a 5 through pitching wedge for that price. If you want the 4 through pitching wedge, it's $549.99. And then the regular price for the heads only for both the pro and the offset or the oversize is $649.99, so $650. The 4 through pitch regular price might be $700. I didn't really see that on there, but I'm guessing. Also, if you want the heads only combo, the 4 through pitching wedge set is $549 right now. I think that's the sale price. So that one would be the 4, 5, and 6 are the oversized heads. The 7 through pitching wedge would be the pro head. So I just wanted to clarify that and let you know that the prices I stated earlier are sale prices. That's basically $200 off from their regular prices. I don't know how long that sale is going to last. It doesn't really say on the website. So if you want an incredible deal on irons that are quality good irons, I would get to McGregor's website and get them ordered because you don't want to miss out on the sale if that's what you're looking at. Even if you miss the sale, the $200 more for the whole set is still an incredible deal compared to other clubs on the market right now. So, all right, now we can get to the driving range. So now it's time to compare these two clubs, the McGregor MT86 oversize and the TaylorMade P790. So the one big difference in this comparison is going to be my club has a graphite shaft and the McGregor has a steel shaft. My clubs might be just a 1/4 inch longer. They're just a little bit oversized, but I mean over length. But other than that, it's going to be at least a good comparison to see kind of how they hit, how they sound, all that kind of stuff. So first I'm going to hit my P790 and get a feel for that sound, that hit, and then we'll switch to the McGregor. Nice, straight down the line. It's flying about 170, 175 maybe. It's about my normal for a 7-iron. Another good hit, straight down the line. about 170. Little tiny fade on that one, but it still went out good. Maybe just a tiny bit fat on that one. That was a good hit. Yep, right straight where I was aiming. Good hit. All right, so let's switch over to the McGregor now. So these are all range balls. They should be more consistent, and hopefully the sound will be more consistent, so you can get a sense of what this sounds like when I hit it good compared to my club. Oh yeah. Nice, perfectly straight. About the same, about 170. Had a nice clicky feel, nice solid feel. No vibration in the hand, no twisting of the club head. I think it's just as good, every bit as good as pretty much anything on the market. Little toe, kind of a little fade, but it went good. Nice, good, clean hit there. Perfectly straight. And right at that same, that one actually might have gone a little bit further. Perfectly straight, low spin. That was a good hit. And I feel nothing in the club. It's just solid. Another good one. Right about the same distance, perfectly straight. So, would these replace my P790s? With Axiom shafts in it and the grips that I have, a little bit mid-sized grip, 100% I would play these clubs. I think they're just as good. They look amazing, and they're a solid club. Will I replace these for my P790s? Probably not, because I don't want to take my clubs apart and rebuild them again. I just did that, put my new ferrules, the custom ferrules that I built, and just rebuilt my clubs. And so if you guys have not seen that video with my custom ferrules, here they are. They're wood. I turned them on my lathe myself and then built my clubs. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I can't even remember what I called it, but it's on the site. It should be one of the last couple videos of showing how I did these. And I think it's called "Would You Game These Ferrules?" maybe. So check that out if you haven't. But back to the McGregors. But as you guys know, I do have a set of shafts that came out of my clubs that are just waiting for clubs. If McGregor's watching this and wants a little publicity from a small YouTube channel, if you want to comp me a 3-through pitching wedge set of these MT86 forged oversized heads, I would gladly build them up and play them and give you some publicity, because I think they're just as every good of club as anything else on the market. And believe me, I've hit them all. Mizuno, Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade, Cobra. When I was working at the golf shop, we were constantly testing and trying clubs, so I've hit them all. Now, how would we rate them? From an aesthetic standpoint of looks, 1 to 10, I give these a 10. I think they're the best looking clubs on the market for an irons. That's all subjective. That's my personal opinion, but I don't think there's anything on the market that looks better than these clubs. From a value standpoint, I would have to give those a 10 out of 10 because, again, they're cheaper than anything that you're going to get on the market right now for a brand new set of clubs that's at this quality. Yeah, you can buy cheaper clubs, but they're not going to be the same level of quality as these. You kind of get what you pay for with that kind of stuff. So I would definitely rate these 10 out of 10 for value. For feel, for the oversized head that I just hit, I would rate them a 9 to 10 out of 10. They're very consistent with my P790s. Now with the Pro version, that's smaller, a lot more like a blade, that one I'm probably going to knock down to, say, a 7 out of 10 for feel and comparability, because when you hit that club right in the middle, it's money. It feels amazing, sounds amazing, it goes amazing. But when you hit it off the toe or the heel of that club, you definitely feel more like a blade where it's a little more punishing. You can tell you don't get the same distance. So it's a different style of a club. It's a little smaller, not as big a sweet spot, not quite as forgiving as this club is. But overall, between the two, because of the price point and the value of them, I don't think you can go wrong with these clubs. Now the big drawback, convenience. That's gonna knock these down a bit, because as far as I know, these are not available in any retail markets yet, stores. It's pretty much direct to consumer. I think their box sets, the cheaper box sets, are available at Dick's Sporting Goods maybe, and Golf Galaxy maybe, something like that. But the MT86 line I do not believe is available in the retail outlets yet. So you can't just go hit these clubs and get a feel for them before you buy them. You kind of have to go through their trial program like I did to get this club, pay the $100, get the club, try it for a month, and then send it back. And then if you like them, then you can buy clubs from that. So that knocks it down a bit, because it's just not, most people want to be able to go hit a club in a shop at a hitting simulator before they buy something. They just like to try it. So that's going to knock this down. I'd say it's going to be, you know, a 6 or 7 out of 10, just because of the inconvenience of having to get the club, try it, send it back. And then the other inconvenient thing is they just don't have a whole lot of shaft options. Yes, you can go in and customize the club and pick different shafts between the steel and the graphite, and also grips. Actually, the grip options are not the biggest compared to a lot of the other brands. So yeah, you do have a choice of, you know, 4 or 5 or 6 different steel shafts to pick from, and maybe a couple of different options in weights and styles of graphite shafts. But it's not going to be like when you go into a retail outlet and do a fitting and you can pick from pretty much any shaft on the market. They just have, I think it's primarily KBS they deal with, and the recoil graphite, and then a couple of different options for grips, size wise and style and stuff. So it's enough to get you what you need. It's still not on par with what you can get when you go into a specialty golf shop or like a Golf Galaxy, a Dick's Sporting Goods, stuff like that. So that knocks it down too. I'd say, you know, that's going to take it down to a 6, 7 out of 10 as well. So with all that considered, what would be the final rating on these? I think that the value, the feel, the quality kind of outweighs a little bit the inconvenience of not having as many shafts and having to get the trial. So, you know, that might pop it up a little bit. But I would go overall maybe a 7.5 and 8 out of 10 with these clubs. So McGregor, it's an old name, been around for ages. They're bringing them back to where they're in the market with quality again, not just a cheap store brand that they had gotten to. And I think that if they could get a couple of pros playing these clubs, they would get back into the mainstream. Hopefully that information helps you to understand this club a little better. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button right down here. And if you're not already a subscriber, do consider subscribing to the channel. Hopefully be able to get a little bit more out now that I'm not working at the golf shop. Those hours were kind of not conducive for me playing golf. Now doing different things, so hopefully I'll be able to play more and post a little bit more often for you guys. So enjoyed it. Until next time, hit them long, hit them straight. We'll see you later.